Tēnā koutou. My name's Maata Wharehoka and I live at Parihaka Papakainga in a whare called Te Hapu o Rongo. I was born and bred in Tauranga and lived in a place called Whakamarama, just out of Tauranga. And living on the land's been my life. If we could live as a community where we can grow our kai together, where we can pool our cars, where we can look after our children, we can teach our children, we can provide the values and the beliefs for our children in the community, we then have the pattern for sustainability. Te Whiti and Tohu had a brilliant setup. They had big gardens. They had people living here to work those gardens. You can't work the big gardens without the people. So number one is to provide a central place for our people to live, being a community. Perhaps before that you have to sow the seed. You have to plant that seed into people's minds about living in a community that wants to be sustainable, because without that seed it can never happen. Maintaining our pāharakeke, it's a big job, and like I said, we don't have the people at home here to do it. Maintaining our gorse, so what are we doing about things like that on the land here? And it becomes a cost to us, and we don't have the ability to manage it all. And we're not asking for handouts in that respect. We're asking for support and maybe generating an enthusiasm. I understand, people are being paid to plant out these plants, and really it should be something that we do because we're helping the environment. We're bringing back to Papa Tuanuku what she rightly deserves. We're bringing back to Tangaro what was rightly deserved. We're cleaning the waterways by doing the riparian and planting. So that's all about sustainability. And who's doing it? I've got a few people on Parihaka doing it, but it's not enough. It doesn't meet the need. We all know there's a need. You just look out there and the need is big. It really is big. And the consultation and our needs haven't been clearly, clearly identified. And I think if we can identify what we want to make the change, then the council could perhaps come in and help us do that. For me in the mountain, I've lived with Taranaki for 25 years, and without Taranaki, without a maunga, the sense of Taranaki would be lost, because that's the icon, that's the symbol. It sits in our backyard. We're reminded of who he is every day, and Taranaki is who we honour in our whakapapa, in our pepeha. It's more magnificent than you can ever think, because to Māori, the maunga is our ancestor. And just when I came to Taranaki, it was called Egmont, and the big move to call Taranaki was underway, and for our iwi there could be nothing else but Taranaki. But, you know, the waterways from Taranaki are so infected, they're polluted, so we can't use that big river that's flowing in our backyard to feed us. We can't do that. And that comes from Taranaki, and that's the biggest resource I think we as Māori people rely upon to maintain our wellness, to maintain everything that we need to live. When you consider we should be able to get out and drink our water without thinking about, oh, has it got giardia in it, or does the shit from up the farm run into this water from the cow shed? Do we have to worry about that? We shouldn't have to worry about it at all. So, you know, farming, even though it's an economy for New Zealand, it doesn't provide us who want to live sustainably with the idea that it's safe to consume. So for me, it's like the water really is absolutely useless to us the way it is. Maybe it's okay in the gardens, but for us as human beings, it's not fit for consumption. So if that's the way it is right around the mountain, then what's so sustainable about that? I think I'll be bold. I'll get rid of Fonterra. You know, I'd love to see Fonterra go, because at the end of the day, Fonterra requires milk to make its products, and that means cows on the land, and that means that animals destroy the land, especially the cows. They destroy the land. It's all considered okay to dump the crap into the rivers, and I don't think it's monitored really well. And you know, at the end of the day, Fonterra, the regional council can go on and on and on, but it's all for the big dollar. And so at the end of the day, Fonterra is responsible. It's the end product of grazing cows, milking. And then we get people fed with the idea that milk is absolutely essential for calcium in our children's bones. But I think about it, you know, my ancestors didn't have cows, and they lived. And there are a lot of nations throughout the world that don't have cows and don't have milk. So, you know, why is Fonterra and why is the government allowing milk products to be promoted in such a big way throughout the motu? At the end of the day, it's all about money. For me, the sea probably equates the land, because, you know, kaimoana to us is our sustenance. It's health. And we know that our people didn't have diabetes, that we weren't an obese nation. And all that is because, you know, we've been taught that Fonterra is better than Tangaroa. And yarrows, you know, yarrows. Yarrows and Fonterra are the faults of our people. Bread and butter is what they love, instead of loving the moana. So I go out and I collect, what I used to collect was poo-poos. And 25 years ago, I could go and get a bucket full very quickly. Over the years, it's taken me hours. Well, the other day, nearly 2 hours to go and get enough poo-poos to feed me and my kids. A long time. Same with the pawas. We no longer get it on the edge. We now have to go out in the deeper water to get the pawas. So what does that tell you? People who come to rape and pillage the shoreline. When in actual fact, if we were looking at it tikanga wise, we would only take enough to sustain us. That's what the moana is all about. But I think the theft of kaimoana for financial gain is wrong. And yet we see in court these people who've been out to get kaimoana for their kaumātua being hauled over the coals because they've exceeded their take for that day. Sad. We've got that all wrong. Why should we have to go and get a permit to get another 10 pawas for our koe and koro? Why should we have to do that? Wrong. And I take my hat off to the council in New Plymouth for running those environmental programs. I think they're fabulous. I've attended a few of those, and it's a beginning, but it's not reaching the right people. It's actually reaching the converted. And I think, you know, our schools should be educated at a very early age. Play centres, you know, if you capture babies, you know, at an early age, you get them respecting the moana, you get them respecting the land. Plug them up. I say plug them up because what are we getting out of it as a people? There's no honour, no respect, no consultation, no belief that we as Māori have any rights to anything beneath the earth and the air above. I just plug them up. I have no regard for them. Even though I do live from them, I'm sure I'd find a way to actually manage without natural gas. Solar would be my choice. The other thing is, I've looked at pedal power. That is brilliant. You know, you get on your bike, charge your battery up. How cool is that? That'll save you, probably, you know, make you feel good because you've cycled that 100 miles to get your battery full of power. How brilliant is that? Market gardening in Taranaki is zilch. There's very little of it. So what's going on? Why can't we provide our market gardens? Why can't we as a community have our own gardens when we consider that 40% of food is wasted in Aotearoa? 40%, that's a lot. That's nearly for 50% of our food is wasted. So when you consider those foods that are wasted in the big supermarkets, 40% is a lot of food going down the gurgler. And what do they do with it? They throw it into bins. You know, it becomes scrap without considering that there might be people out there who could well use that kai that they've binned. So, you know, that to me is really important, that we grow gardens and we feed our people and we keep them well by providing our gardens. We can live from the garden. We don't have to live on, and we can live from the birds, you know. We can free range chooks here. We could free range lots of birds so that we can live sustainably. We don't need to go and have a cow, or we can go up the bush and get a pig perhaps. But, you know, we don't need a cow to eat. We don't need a sheep to eat. We don't need those things. Riparian planting, absolutely. I think that's probably it's music to my ears that, you know, that's happening. The other thing too, I suppose, in that riparian planting, it's not only cleansing the water as it passes through, it's bringing back life into those swamps, life into those creeks, into the rivers. You know, we have all of these fresh water fish returning, and isn't that brilliant? I mean, I might be able to go out in my yard here and have a feed. Grow some more. Grow some more. Our land needs to be replanted in trees. You know, we've taken so many trees from our land. When you consider how important trees are to us, and the oxygen that they give off, absolutely important. So, you know, for me it's about return the trees, bring back the trees. And when you bring back the trees, you bring back the birds. You bring back the birds, you bring back the people.